Moving on to the Eastern Conference preview, Eastern Conference breakdown, reaction, recap. Very good week in the East. I would say a lot of teams, as you take a look here at the standings, just a glance at all of it, top teams are playing well, except a few that we will talk about here in just a moment. But the Atlantic Division is where we are going to start. Some things to note there. I would say Bruins, Leafs, and the Red Wings looking very, very good. Other than the other night, the Leafs did lose to the Arizona Coyotes, which was... Arizona was bound to finally beat a team, and it just so happened to be the Toronto Maple Leafs in Toronto. But other than that little blunder and losing the opening game of the season to the Montreal Canadiens, who, in fact, I would say look very, very tough to play against. They're not going to make the playoffs, so don't be like, hey, whoa, pump the brakes. Again, they're not going to make the playoffs, but they are going to be a tough young team to play against. Martin St. Louis has a very good team assembled there of young talent that he will be able to give them great advice, great stuff. As actually on the screen right now, Ottawa is up 1-0 against Boston. Giroux gets the goal, but those teams look pretty good. Again, Bruins, I think, are exceeding what people thought they would be doing with their injuries that they have to Marchand and to McAvoy not starting the season with them. They look great offensively, defensively, between the pipes with Swayman. Up front, Bergeron, Krejci, Pasternak, Taylor Hall. The list goes on of players that are actually stepping up big for them. They look very good. I give them more credit than I gave them at the start of the season because I believe we actually have them out of the playoffs. So good for them. Other teams to note, Florida Panthers, they look interesting. I'm not too high on them, but man, oh man, Spencer Knight, if you guys did not see the highlight, another snipe by Ottawa. They're just showing kind of the highlights. I've got NHL on the fly right now, but they're up, I believe, 2-0 right now on the Bruins as we speak in an Atlantic Division battle. But Spencer Knight, save of the season. Cross-ice pass, backdoor cheese, one-timer play. He slides over, makes the save. I forget who they were actually playing where he made that save, but go check it out. Spencer Knight, hit the YouTube, check out the save. It is absolutely filthy of a save. Other than that, Lightning looking pretty sluggish. This could be the year that maybe the wheels fall off the Tampa Bay Lightning, but I will say their one bright spot right now is Steven Stamkos. He is producing at a very solid clip right now. Let me get back all of the team stats right now. Stamkos right here, where is it? 4 goals, 1 assist. He's had a couple power play goals, been absolutely ripping the puck, slap shot, wrist shot. The shot is still elite for Steven Stamkos, and he's going to be a reason why. And if they are able to make the playoffs this year, it's going to be on his back. But overall, I'm not too impressed with the Lightning this year. Again, I'd say their depth is not looking very good. Again, they've been losing pieces left and right over the past couple of years of having won the cup and players moving on due to contracts and not being able to be re-signed and or not being able to be paid by the Tampa Bay Lightning and going elsewhere. It's starting to show a little bit their age. They are an older lineup with not a lot of youth. Again, you might be like, well, you're totally wrong with that because you've got Foot's kid, Cale Foot, and that you're completely right there. They do have a couple young guys. Ross Colton is in there as well, but the majority of their guys are, I would say, are at least 28 and older and or 31 and older. So I would say that panic button for the Tampa Bay Lightning is not being pressed yet because it is still way too early in the season. But the panic button, I would say we're about to start hovering over that if in the next week we talk again and they are still down near the bottom of the division. We might start hovering over that a little bit closer to actually pressing that panic button, especially if injuries start to pile up, which hopefully they do not. We hope nobody ever gets injured, but it is bound to happen. It is a physical game, hockey is, and sometimes things happen. Ooh, big play there by Ottawa. Stopped there because, again, right now Ottawa's only played 2 games. They've lost 2, so they're at the bottom of the Atlantic. So watching this game right now with them in Boston, going to be interesting to see. Again, actually bringing that up, Sens are still trying to figure it out. New chemistry, new team, a lot of young guys in there with a couple older guys. I know Giroux coming over from Philly, then Florida, now back or in Ottawa. He's from around the area. Tkachuk has got to step up big. Got to find the goaltending. Stützle's got to start playing a little bit better, play a little bit more solid. DeBrincat still got to figure it out there, but I think the Senators, they will be able to figure it out that we have them in as our last playoff team. So I expect them to start to figure it out a little bit more. They are only -5 on the goal differential, but still, if you're in the minus, you got to figure it out in the D zone. Can't be having turnovers, can't be giving the puck away, losing your man, all that good stuff. I've seen it in a couple of highlights here and there where they're kind of looking around and not finding their man, but as of right now, watching this game right now against Boston, they're looking very, very good. So we will have to wait and see on them. Buffalo's looked pretty good. The Bruins, again, Bruins class of the Atlantic right now, even though they're down 2-0 to the Ottawa Senators. They have 5.3 goals per game, which is first in the NHL. The Detroit Red Wings, man, they are looking very good. Pep in their step. They've got that youth mixed in with a couple older guys. David Perron looking very solid as well. They are +5 goal differential, as you guys can see there on the screen right now. So look out for them. And again, Toronto, they've got to figure it out. Again, it's still early. They are only 2-2, but that Montreal game looked very suspect. The game against the Coyotes last night looked very suspect. So they've got to figure it out. They've got to play better hockey in their own D zone. Some of their goals that they're giving up is just like, what are you doing? Or where's your man? Or it's just the heads are not on a swivel, and they find a way to let those goals up. And I mean, goaltending, Matt Murray's out for a little while. So Samsonov, really their main goalie right now, he's got a chance here for maybe about 10 to 12 games that it could then become his net to lose once Murray gets back to full health. So big opportunity for Samsonov as we now move over to the Metropolitan Division. And whoever is indeed watching, Rick, thank you for watching. I'm just checking over right now. Thank you for the like and watching if you still are. And whoever does pop in, thank you so much for checking out the channel, checking out the video. I know there's some games going on right now tonight, but thank you so much. Again, I am popping in here and there to check on everything. Stream health is good, so we are looking good there. We're now moving on to the Metropolitan Division, which I think honestly has looked like one of the strongest divisions in the entire NHL, other than their bottom two teams. Now, you can see on the screen right now who those two teams are. You could even make the case for 3 bottom teams. But getting to everything, I would say the Pens, Flyers, Rangers, Canes. I'd even say Washington. I watched their game highlights from last night. Ovi finally having a big night, 4 points, 2 goals, 2 assists. It is a very top-heavy division like it was last year. Let's see here. Biggest question right now, out of those top 5 teams that you see on the board right now for the division, who's going to be the top one after the end of this upcoming week? Are the Flyers going to be able to continue their success, continue that good form of play? They're undefeated. They're 2 games in, 2 wins. They've looked very good. +4. Carter Hart has actually looked very good between the pipes. The team is just playing different with John Tortorella as their coach, and maybe that's exactly what they needed. They have a decent roster, don't get me wrong. They are young. Couturier is still actually out. Ryan Ellis isn't even playing. So if you get Couturier back and they're still, let's say above the Capitals and the Islanders and or even close to like the Pittsburgh Penguins and Rangers, and they get Couturier back and continue pumping in wins, look out for the Flyers with Tortorella as their coach. But Crosby, Panarin, Zibanejad, as we actually look at stats, Panarin 10 points, 2 goals, 8 assists. Zibanejad 4 goals, 4 assists. He is deadly on the power play with his vision and his one-timer shot. Man, he can absolutely let it fly. It is impressive to watch. And then you've got Panarin actually feeding him the puck half the time. So pretty awesome there. And then you've got Crosby here, 2 goals, 4 assists for 6 points. He was technically star number 1 of week 1 of the NHL season. So good for him. And kind of scrolling down the list, Brian Rust is up there for 5 points. Ovi is there, 5 points as well. And then I'm trying to find some other Penguins. I know Malkin had a big night last night in their loss. He had 2 goals against the Canadiens. But overall, those guys are leading the way for their teams. They're really showing up, and that's why Penguins and Rangers are at the top, near the top, I should say, of their division. You've got awesome goaltending play. Tristan Jarry has played very well. Freddie Anderson has played well. Shesterkin, very well so far. Great stats throughout the season. And again, it is early, but very solid hockey coming out of those teams, and it's from their top dogs and top goaltenders between the pipes. Washington Capitals off to a little bit of a slower start than I would have imagined they would have. Again, injuries with Backstrom and Wilson do play a factor into that, so the weight of the team, I'd say, is more so on Ovechkin and Karlsson now more than ever to continue to do well until Backstrom and Wilson are back in the team. But last night was a good sign of things as they were able to pump in a lot of goals. Played great. Ovi, again, 4 points. Karlsson played great. They looked more of a cohesive team last night than they have so far early in this season. Pittsburgh has looked very good so far. They beat the Coyotes, which that isn't really saying much. They beat the Lightning, though, the same score, 6-1, which that's impressive. Again, Lightning are a little down, but still beating a Stanley Cup champion two out of the last 4 seasons. Very, very good. Rangers have looked good. They did get pumped the one night against the Winnipeg Jets, but the Rangers, they look very stout on defense. Trouba, Miller, Fox, they are looking very good. Even Lindgren looks good back there, and that's saying something. He's a very salt and pepper type player who's going to lay the lumber when he needs to. Up front, Lafreniere has actually looked very good for the Rangers. Capo Kakko has looked more lively than he ever has during the regular season, and I've already touched upon Panarin and Zibanejad. Kreider has actually been the one that has been a little quiet for my taste, considering the fact that he had a lot of goals last year, 50-plus goals last year. So he might need to step it up a little bit more than what he has been doing. Hedl, a little quiet as well, but they've been very consistent offensively and defensively. Not a lot of turnovers, very sound defensive hockey, head on a swivel, looking for that open man when they don't have the puck. And when they do have the puck, they're looking to get open. They're making plays, cycling high, low, getting the puck to the net. They're finding ways to score a lot of goals. As you can see there, 17 goals for it, only 12 against, +5 differential. So good for them. Pittsburgh, 14 goals, 7 against, +7 on the differential. And then Carolina, they've actually looked very, very good. Their top players, Svechnikov, Nishias, Aho. You've got on the backhand Slavin. You've got, I'm drawing a blank on some other of their defenders, but then you've got Anderson, who's looked very good between the pipes. So maybe he's got a push for the Vezina this year. We will have to wait and see if that does indeed happen. I honestly think there's a good chance for it too, but who knows? We'll have to wait and see what happens with that. But teams at the top look very good, but then when the adverse effect, when you go to the bottom, the Devils, again, it's only been 2 games, but they do not look very good at all. Columbus Blue Jackets look even worse, and things get worse for them as Patrick Laine is actually going to be out for 3 to 4 weeks, or what they are reporting. They have no defense right now. Their goaltending looks like a non-factor, -9 on goal differential. They need to figure it out quick to be able to get some wins to try to stay in the hunt for a playoff spot, because 3 to 4 weeks without Laine, we're looking at maybe, 10 to 15 games possibly. If you only say, you only win 5 out of 12 games, you're looking near the bottom of your division, and they can't afford for that to happen. Again, a lot of young guys getting some calls up. Kent Johnson, he was sent down to start the year. Laine gets hurt. He then comes up. So maybe good to get some youth getting some playing time. Cole Sillinger in there as well. Johnny Hockey in there as well. Zach Werenski on the back end. But again, it just does not look like a very cohesive group right now. Boone Jenner needs to get the boys buzzing as their captain. They need to figure something out because it is not looking good at this point in time. So we'll have to wait and see what happens there. But it'll be interesting to see what does happen because, again, without Laine, you're arguably your best shooter on your team for 3 to 4 weeks. Things could get ugly real quick. But again, it's still early. We want to be positive. Let's say they could go on a 5-game winning streak and be back near the top of the division. So who knows? Things could change. I could be completely wrong,